The arts. How's everyone doing this evening? Fantastic. We are so glad that you were here for our first show of September as we move into fall here in Tempe. A lot of great shows for you. Let's have a hand for Mikey Veravosic who did the announcements there. He did a great job. I hurt his feelings earlier because he put a picture on Facebook. You ever looking at someone on Facebook? You go, oh my God, I shouldn't be looking at this. It's a mistake. And he had put up a picture of pork ribs being cooked inside in a frying pan. And I found that disgusting. So
they're delicious, by the way.
You should only cook them outside. Anyway, listen, we're doing great so far. So we have a great show for you tonight. By applause, how many people are here for one of our shows for the very first time? Let's hear that. And how many people have been here with us before? It's a great mix. Let me tell you a little bit about this show so you know what you're in store for. You may have been to many stand-up comedy shows before. This one is unique and completely different and a lot of fun. You may have been to down to Comerica Theater or one of the casinos and seen some of the best at the top of their game. A Louis C.K., someone like that, where you pay like $100 for a ticket. Great experience seeing the best of the best at the top of their game. You may have been to a open mic night, which is kind of like a car crash you can't turn away from. Yeah, have you ever walked in just to eat food someplace and like a comedy show breaks out? You're going, hey, listen. So you may have been to a contest where a friend of yours was in a comedy contest, and you went there and you sat there and held your laughter until your friend was up there because you want your friend to win because your friend is a deadbeat who sleeps on your couch and owes you money. And you want to get him off your couch. But don't laugh till he gets up there because if he doesn't win, he's still going to live with us. So a variety of different shows you can experience. This one is completely different, and let me tell you why, okay? This is a show where this group of people have worked together for the last several weeks to produce this show. They've done something kind of unique in the annals of stand-up in that they have actually rehearsed and worked together in a collaborative way. So even if the person who you've come out to see tonight is not the person on stage, there's a good chance that individual helped the person who is on stage to write their jokes. So can you support all of them, each individually, strongly? Can you do that for me? I'm happy I'm just standing. I've been telling people I was experiencing some back issues recently. I'm like me and Roger Maris and finally have one thing in common. The number 61 is important. So, because I'm 61, he had 61 runs. Will those of you getting the jokes explain to people next to you not getting the jokes? Some of you are already having a good time, and some of you are going, tell some jokes we can dance to. Good. These people are the designated laughers, by the way. If you're confused if something's funny or not, watch these folks. We're having a good time. Unpucker yourself and have a good time. You drove down here. Enjoy yourself, for God's sakes. So, anyway, I went to the doctor, and he said to me, they did an MRI and stuff. They go, well, you have a problem in your back. I said, I know that. That is why I'm here. What I'm here is to find out how to fix it. I said, what is the problem? He goes, well, you have a problem with lumbar 1 through 5. I said, oh, okay. I go, just 1 through 5. I go, how many are there? He goes, well, there's 5. So you see that there's an issue here, and we have to take care of all of them, okay? And so they sent me to physical therapy, which is kind of like torture. I don't know if you've ever been through physical therapy, but if you've ever done any, when you were young, and you did like a lot of exercise, or you're go, I'm going to jump from this building to that building and see what happens. And you don't make it, but you still get up and drink beer and party with your friends and stuff. Here with physical therapy, just go, all right, just move your leg back this way. You go, ah! The smallest movement, and you're screaming. So finally they said, we're going to have to give you an epidural. Like, I'm not having a baby. I'll repeat these goddamn punchlines. If that's what it takes, folks. There's no quiz at the end of this. Don't write this shit down until we have to remember this joke, okay? Experience it in the moment. Okay? We got a guy selling loose joints in a park if that'll help. So I went there and I got an epidural, and now I never had it. It was my only experience with an epidural was someone having a baby, right? And you all know that joke where the woman goes, I'm just going to have natural childbirth, okay? And I'm not going to take any pills or anything. I'm only going to eat sassafras seeds so the child is healthy. And then she's in the delivery room going, and I was kind of like that, and I'm confused, though. If you had children? You did have children. So I have a theory. It's a conspiracy, okay, that it doesn't hurt to have babies. It's just a good reason to take dope. I think you can pop them out like, if you were pulling quarters out of your pocket. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. But then you get to take some hard drugs. Is that true? No? But you look like you're looking for hard drugs, I'll tell you that. Are you guys ready for this show to begin? Yes, fantastic. We're going to kick it off right now with an old friend of mine, someone who I used to work with many years ago, who's come back into town and is doing the show with us now. How about a warm welcome, please? Kevin Davidson.
Thank you. Everybody give it up for yourselves for coming out supporting us tonight. We really appreciate you guys coming out. That's right, as like Tony said, it has been a long time since I performed. It's been over 5 years since I performed, but believe it or not, this is not the coolest thing that I've done this week. The coolest thing that I did this week is I went on a ride-along with the Phoenix Police Department, or at least I call it a ride-along, they called it under arrest. I had no idea there was a difference, but there is, according to the judge. But I'll give you guys 2 tips to stay out of this situation that I was in. Tip number 1, don't break the fucking law. Tip number 2, don't ever have one of your friends be a getaway driver if he's got one of those breathalyzer things installed on his car. It's like, dude, come on, let's go, the cops are coming, start the car! Don't worry, guys. Jail ain't too bad. So that's how you stay out of that situation there. I'm sure you can tell I had an interesting childhood growing up. Growing up, my dad was an alcoholic, always had a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other. And I remember one night, me and my brother were sitting there with my dad, and my dad looks at us and says, "Kids, learn from my mistakes and don't do the stupid things that I do, like drink or smoke or sleep with your mother." Damn kids. Thanks for that advice, Dad. Yeah. So I also took an interesting path to get to where I am today. I went from working in retail to working as a strip club DJ, and now I'm an accountant. I'm going to be a CPA. Thank you. For those of you that don't know what a CPA is, basically I paid a bunch of money for an education, and the only thing that I have to show for it is a piece of paper that says that I'm an asshole. But I'm certified. Certified asshole. That's right, but I still can't get in as much trouble now as I could when I worked at the strip club. Because at a strip club, you can get killed. It almost happened to me one night. I called one of the strippers by the wrong name. I called Cinnamon Donut. Yeah. Look, in my line of work, I can mess up on an amended tax return and get a slap on the wrist. But if you call a stripper by the wrong name, they might be calling you DJ One Nut. Those stilettos are sharp. Oh yeah, interesting stuff. But I used to run into girls all the time that I used to work with. This one time I ran into this girl in the grocery store and I couldn't remember where I knew her from. And I was looking at her, I was like, "Don't I recognize you from somewhere?" And she looks at me, she's like, no, you don't know me from anywhere, DJ Fingerbang." That was my DJ name. And then she gave me $5 and asked me if I could play Back That Ass Up by Juvenile. I obliged, of course. Another thing I like to watch a lot of sports, especially football. When I watch sports though, somehow I seem to get myself in trouble. Like for example, last Thanksgiving I was watching football with my mom and the rest of the family, and the announcer on the TV was talking about the running back, and the announcer said, "He's got really good speed." And right away I yelled out, "Who does? How much does he have? How much is it? Is it really good speed or good speed or no good speed? Because I use really good speed." Got me in trouble. One time I was watching a football game and the quarterback threw the ball down the field and the announcer said, "And he's going deep." And of course that got me in trouble with my girlfriend. She looked at me and said, "He's going deep, why can't you?" Yeah, that hurt. Another time I was watching football and the announcer was talking about the running back, and the announcer said, "He's huge from the waist down." Exactly. That's when I found out that my cousin Rudy was gay. He's like, "Oh, hello there, sailor." Very uncomfortable. Oh, another time I like to watch basketball too. One time I was watching a basketball game and the announcer said, "And Johnson gets to the rim with the D all over him." Actually, no, wait. That wasn't when I was watching basketball. That's when I was watching gay porn with my cousin Rudy. You know, I think it would be cool to be homeless. And let me tell you why. Because no matter what, I would always be close to home. And it would be expected for me as a homeless man to be drunk 24/7 and show everybody that drives by my junk. Of course, until the cops pull up. "Sir, what are you doing?" Nothing, I'm not doing anything." "Sir, where do you live?" "Well, I live right here. But I'm house sitting tonight and I'm staying right here. He's got cooler stuff in his cart." All right, everybody, that's all the time I'm going to take up tonight. My name is Kevin Davidson. And we're going to keep this show rolling. Right now, we got another very funny entertainer coming out. Everybody make some noise. Put your hands together for Daniel Krause.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Krause, and I had a pretty hectic day today. My 6-year-old nephew lost his first tooth while I was babysitting him, and I was so nervous about handling all the blood. Luckily, I applied a little bit of pressure, and sure enough, my knuckles stopped bleeding. In fact, my nephew came over the other day complaining there were all kinds of bullies at his school, giving wedgies and swirlies. He wanted my advice on how to deal with them. I said, "Nephew, you gotta be creative. You gotta differentiate yourself from all the other bullies." I'm pretty excited. I just got a new dishwasher. Her name is Maria. Thank you. Speaking of which, I've always had a thing for Latina women, but I just got engaged to a mixed chick. She's mixed, so she's actually half OCD and half psycho. She also suffers from a little bit of depression. She's got a nice ass, though. Depression's just from the waist up. Yeah, you see, my ex-girlfriend had a dog. She was a little husky, and the dog was a golden retriever. I was cutting my own hair at the house the other night and slipped with the clippers. Son of a bitch, my dick bled for hours. I remember when we were little kids, my sister and I used to have to take baths together. That was a long time ago, thank God. My sister and I haven't taken a bath together since we started showering together. You know, because my sister and I, we had to share a room while we were growing up. Well, she was 11, I was 18, but still, good times. As a kid, I used to always get in trouble with my parents during summer break. You know, my dad would ground me, send me to my room. I don't do that with my kids, because it's summertime, for heaven's sakes. If my kids act up, I send them straight to the car. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any more children. But we still have until about the middle of the first trimester to ultimately make that decision. Am I right? I thought I was developing a pretty good gaydar, like I was starting to be able to detect if someone was gay. But as I learned earlier tonight, I should probably go back to asking before I just try to give someone a hand job backstage. Sorry, Tony, gosh. I just finished reading Jeffrey Dahmer's biography. Experts say we should have been able to predict he was going to be a serial killer because he liked to torture his pets. His favorite was putting his cat in the microwave. My first thought was, damn, There must be a lot of serial killers in China. Yeah, Tony asked me to do a clean set tonight. Could have been worse. I did this set a few weeks ago at an elementary school for a group of students and their parents. And as you guys can imagine, the kids fucking loved it. A girl in my department at work got sent to HR because someone complained her clothes were too tight. I didn't think her clothes were too tight at all. If you ask me, I would say she's just fat. Is it ironic that if I could murder anyone and get away with it, it'd be Nancy Grace? Just want to throw that out there. Thank you. There's a lot of white rappers out here these days, right? A lot of white rappers trying to be something they're not. And I just have to say, as a black man, I don't know how I feel about this. Any sports fans in the house tonight? All right. You guys might appreciate this one then. I recently cheated on my fiance with a cheerleader. You may even recognize her if you've been to one of the football games out at Hamilton High. I know, it's awful for my reputation. Cheerleaders are airheads. I look out in the audience and I see a group of folks that could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you decided to be here supporting a guy like me tell jokes. So all I have to say is, y'all are one sick bunch. My name's Daniel Krause. Thank you for hanging with me. I'm excited to introduce this next comic because she's a great lady, but more importantly, she's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Florence.
Hi there, let's give Daniel another hand, please. So my name's Dean, how are you? And I'm actually retired. People ask me all the time how I pulled that off, and I'd like to tell you it was hard work and perseverance, but the bottom line is I divorced really well. And Dean is actually a nickname. I've had some over the years, some I liked, some I didn't. When I was younger, kids used to call me Thunder Thighs. But more recently, when my husband was cheating on me, I got my favorite nickname, which was Plaintiff. Could be my favorite. But I moved here from a town called Greenwich, Connecticut, back east. And those of you who don't know anything about Greenwich, Connecticut, I'll tell you that it makes old Scottsdale here look like Apache Junction. It's pretty white back there. It's the kind of white that if you don't, actually it doesn't matter what your nationality is or what language you speak. If you don't have blonde hair, you're going to get a handicap sticker with your beach pass. So, yeah. And my hair is actually black. And it took me a couple of weeks to dye it blonde back there. I couldn't take people coming to my house dropping off their kids because they thought I was the nanny. So, yeah. I thought it would solve my problems if I dyed my hair blonde, but it did not. Because the real problem was I was an Italian from Portchester, New York. And those of you who don't know anything about Portchester, I'll tell you it makes Apache Junction look like North Scottsdale, okay? Portchester got some teeth, okay? And I was here in Greenwich, actually I was back in Greenwich trying to raise my 2 Italian children. And next door to me was a gentleman wearing a mattress jacket with pink shorts, talking to me about his boat slip and his yacht. And meanwhile, back in my living room, my little Guido son is having a meltdown because his sister, her mustache came in before his. So, that's a true story. I'm not kidding. But my kids are grown now, thank God, because I was a horrible mother. I was vegan back then, I was vegetarian, and I actually did things like cut up cucumbers and tell my kids that they were cookies. My bad for those eating disorders that those kids have now, but yes. And my childhood was totally different. Okay, all I wanted to be when I grew up was an actress. So I just wanted to be in the Screen Actors Guild, and I wanted that SAG card. I got it. Took me a long time, but I was so old, they not only mailed me a SAG card, they had to mail one for my boobs too. Yes. So, I didn't get married until I was 29 years old, and I got divorced when I was 53. So when I went back out there, I just kind of did what I knew, which was date 29-year-olds. And, well, you know, I figured it worked back then, right? But no, I'm here to tell you that did not work, all right? All it did was get me some more of those nicknames that I told you about in the very beginning. And the second thing it did was it enabled me to change my spirit animal from an eagle to a cougar. Love that, okay? So, the other thing that happened when I was dating was I found this book called The Rules. Has anyone ever heard of this book? Isn't it the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life? No, I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous, all right? There's so many rules, I just threw it away and made 2 of my own, okay? Rule number 1, please don't date any man that has bigger boobs than you, all right? No, don't laugh, because, you know, the bigger your boobs are, the more important this rule is, all right? Still laughing. Rule number 2, please stop calling men pigs. Men are not pigs. Pigs orgasm for 30 minutes. They do. Well, I'm happy to say that I'm out of the dating pool. I'm dating a wonderful man, and I'm not dating him for the reasons that you think I'm dating him, though, okay? Yeah, he's nice, he's funny, he's handsome, blah, 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 blah. But he uttered the words that every single female who owns her own house wants to hear, actually, on a first date. He said he was a general contractor. Now, just wait, hear me out, okay? Like, someone wants to run around my house at this point, fixing things, wearing a tube belt. That is not just hot, like, that is porn in my world, all right? And if you don't believe me, you should see my new kitchen. Thanks a lot, my name is Sheila. I want to bring up a comic here. His name is, I'm probably going to mess up his name, Abhinav
Goyle.
Goyle! Please let's hear it for Abhinav. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abhinav Goyle. So, recently I did a show, and for the first time, this really hot girl came up to me after and was like, "Hey, I got an idea for you." Unfortunately, it wasn't that idea. She was a little drunk and a little rude and decided she had a few joke ideas for me. Mainly about how I'm an Indian. She was like, "You know, you should do some jokes about working in a call center." Yeah. And you know, I like that movie about the kid on the boat with the tiger. What's it called again? Crouching Tiger, Eat the Pie. Well, that's awkward. Crouching Tiger, Eat the Pie. And, wait. Yep. And, I just messed up my set.
That's awkward.
What comes after that?
Start over.
Start over? I want to get an entire drunken girl before that. But yeah, like this girl wasn't ready to stop going. Like she was like, "You know, you should do some jokes about having a dot on your head." You have a dot on your head! No, I don't. And frankly, kind of disappointed. These are the best ideas you could give me. Like, I'm Indian. You could have talked about how all Indians are so hairy that we don't need to wear a sweater in the wintertime. We already got one. Or how all Indians are brown. Come on. It's not because we tan a lot. God just took a shit on us. And you're a girl, come on. You couldn't remember how all guys smell like curry? Not because we eat a lot of curry. That's just leftover son of God shit. And come on, all Indians are terrorists. I know you white people think this about us. It's because we carry around gunpowder, which to us is just a form of chili powder. Meaning the only thing I'm blowing up is a toilet. She's like, you know, you're pretty smart. Can I marry you? Actually, no you can't. Because I'm an Indian, my parents already arranged my marriage. So I learned early on that I am not good at team sports. And I learned this because every time I joined a team, everybody on it would go, "You're horrible." My dad would be driving me home going, "You're horrible." I would get home, my brother would be sitting on the couch going, "You're horrible." But my mother, she was much kinder. "You are the best of all the horrible ones." Maybe you should just go sit in your room by yourself. Singular sports, on the other hand, I was actually pretty good at, like karate, tennis, weightlifting, and ballet. It's a sport, okay? But this inability to be good at team sports actually caught up to me in the working world, where, for example, my first team project was to figure out how to increase productivity in the workplace. The first idea my team came up with was to put me in the basement. They're like, "This will increase productivity by about 200%. And so my job was to sit in the basement and pretty much just staple papers. And not like important papers, just whatever they throw down there. Like newspapers, report clippings. At one point they just started throwing down 1-ply toilet paper. They're like, "So your job is to turn this into 2-ply toilet paper. Make the company kind of you fired." So I did, and I was good at it because it was a singular activity. All right, that's my time tonight. Thank you guys very much. All right, up next is the very wonderful, it's her very first time on stage, Deborah Mojay.
Hi everybody, as you heard, this is my first time. And I gotta admit, I'm nervous, but that's not unusual because most people's number one fear is speaking in public. The number two fear is dying. So I figure by doing stand-up, I can speak in public and die at the same time. I was also told that I should look in the audience, which is you guys, and imagine that you're naked. That's supposed to make me feel less nervous. Whoa. That makes me feel a little better. But I'm afraid that really didn't help me too much, but maybe I don't have that good of an imagination. So I was wondering if maybe some of you could help me out and get naked. Yeah? Well, anyway. Honestly, I'm happy to be here. And speaking of honesty, why is it that we have such a difficult time telling the truth? For example, the other day, I was filling my car with gas, and this guy comes up to me and asks me for some money. Instead of telling him no, I told him that I only had my debit card. Well, he took out his cell phone and a card swipe. I ended up giving him $5. I'm not using that excuse again. No, maybe it's not so much about being honest as it is having a good excuse. What we need is a book of excuses. We could have an excuse for being late, breaking a date, not having any money, or if a cop stops us. It would absolutely be a number one seller. We could also have an app for our phone so we could take our excuses with us whenever and wherever we need them. And, stay with me, we can log who we gave what excuse to and when. That way we're always on top of our excuses. It would absolutely be a bestseller, a book of excuses. I've been meaning to write it, but Just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. So, one of the places that you may not know that's known for being honest is Switzerland. They have the best banking system in the world. You have to be honest when you're dealing with money. But what you may not know about Switzerland is that they haven't been in a war for 500 years. It's a good thing though. Have you seen the Swiss Army knife? It's not much of a weapon. Maybe you could tweeze someone to death or use that corkscrewy thing. But Switzerland, stay in banking. I've been in Phoenix for 8 years now. And this has probably been the hottest summer. Probably because of the guy that just moved in next door to me. He is super hot. Oh my goodness. But seriously, when it's hot like this, you gotta think of creative ways to stay cool. There's a casino that advertises a pool party, which sounded like a really good idea till I thought of the name, Release. There's no way I'm getting into that water. It was so hot the other day that I wasn't burning, I was cooking. By the time I got home, I smelled like chicken. My cats were so excited when I walked through the door, they thought I was dinner. I had to fight them off. And they were so disappointed when I opened up their can of cat food. They were still looking for the chicken. And I had to tell them, no guys, here's your food. And it was just a big mess. Yeah, I have cats, 5 of them. I'm not a cat lady, I'm a cat woman. They usually get along, but sometimes they get into a fight, and it's usually the same two. But the other guys gather around and egg them on, and I swear the last time it looked like they were taking bets. Well, I usually travel to Jacksonville for Thanksgiving, and I'll take the cats, but they get nervous. So my vet gave me some kitty downers. Well, I really don't know what they were, but they tasted fishy and they were hard to swallow. But they were great because I don't even remember taking the flight. I definitely want to take the cats on more trips. Well, guys, you've been great. Thank you very much. And I'd like to welcome Mike Brown.
Hi. First of all, I do have a speech impediment. People ask me why am I always telling people I have a speech impediment. Not because I want simply applause. Simply applause. All you guys. Living with a speech impediment is tough, because things I say don't come out. For example, I must have me working as a what do you got that word between two tires?
Excellent.
Thanks. Yeah, so to me when I say that it's an asshole. So much me working in a mechanic, telling a customer walking, he tell me what do I need. And he said, well, you need a new asshole. And he told me, thank you, man. What is on paper? You need no asshole. And he told me that I'm 17. You still need no asshole. So I went home, recorded myself, and no wonder he freaking out. Well, I'm sure your name is asshole, and your first at school or your first day at job, and you make your boss, principal, teacher, or whoever I said, "Mane Bab, Mane Kati, what's your name, asshole?" I'm also losing a girlfriend, and you're engaged, but her son named asshole. Yeah, so she can't. Asshole, can't see asshole another aqua stage. And so anyway, okay, moving on now. So I went to I'm very religious guy and naive. So I went to church one day with a friend, and that friend have cerebral palsy, and he gets seizures, which is cool, not because he has seizures, because he went to church with me and went there. It was good sermon, and he was having a seizure attack, but nobody came to help him because they thought he was God sling a spirit. I was explaining what's going on because of my speech. They thought I was speaking in tongues. So everybody bowed down to me, or us, gave us the money, and the next I got called, you need to leave church. So I did, but like I said, I'm pretty not naive. And one day I went into a dog box store looking for a dog box, and Hemingway or One Piece, and the guy at the counter, he told me that you in a dog box store. I told myself, okay, no Dr. Seuss. So I come up, I took a magazine, just look at, there were no books in them. In the back room, they have a booth, and I noticed some horse in there, and pretty soon some stuff sticking out, and I grabbed those two and said, "Snake in the air." That have a nice day. My next guy is, I don't have the last name. His first summer too, I think, Bruce.
Good evening, I'm Bruce Stiles. And let's have another round of applause for Mark Cram. I'd like to thank all my friends for their support in my endeavor. Anytime I told anyone that I wanted to do stand-up comedy, the universal response was, "You're funny." Thanks, folks. I also want to thank my friends for coming out tonight. It's cool that they would buy a ticket when they could laugh at me for free any other time. I'm from Claysville, Pennsylvania. My high school bathrooms had a door on the left marked girls, a door on the right marked boys, and a door in the middle marked janitor. And it wasn't until now that I realized how progressive my school really was. After all, it's not every high school that has a transgender janitor having a private bathroom. Speaking of bathrooms, I had a horrible experience the other day. I was out and about, and I was all by myself, and I couldn't find a bathroom that I could use. They were all marked family. So I asked this fella if I could take his child into the bathroom. He was uncooperative. Fortunately, I have good dental insurance. I don't suffer foolishness very well. There are people who go around and tell you that they'll help you save your hard-earned money. That really frosts my shorts. What about money you won in the lottery? Or found in the street? Do they not care about that money? Does buying a lottery ticket or picking up money make it hard-earned? Don't waste that. I had to bend over at the waist to pick up that money. And Maxwell House coffee, right on the label, it says, good to the last drop. What's wrong with that last drop? How do they keep from having 2 bad drops in the same cup? And why do they have any bad cups in the first place? Some people in Phoenix have grass lawns. From my view, they spend a lot of time and money to grow grass in the desert so that they can spend a lot of time, money, and effort mowing the grass so that they can spend a lot of time, money, and effort being treated for heat exhaustion. Some people get annoyed when they get carded to buy a drink. Can you believe it? They should be grateful. They should enjoy it as long as they can. I qualify for senior discounts, and no one ever carded me. There should be a law against giving a senior discount to anyone who's not old enough, just so older people can get carded once in a while and feel good. What? No way are you 55. Let me see your ID. Huh. Well, you sure fooled me. And insurance. If I have auto insurance, I get a new auto. If I have homeowner's insurance, I get a new home. So, what do I get if I have life insurance? Nothing. Nothing at all. That doesn't seem fair. But I bought life insurance anyway because the agent told me that my wife would get a lot of money if something bad happened to me. Well, I got a speeding ticket, so where's her check? You folks know about Fiji water? Can you guess where it comes from? The Fiji water people ship water over 10,000 miles to get it to Great Britain, but only 5,000 miles to get it to just to Los Angeles. And they have the nerve to say that they're concerned about the environment. What are they, in a contest to waste energy? What's next? Launching water into orbit? Drink new orbit water. It's out of this world. Fiji water puts the mineral analysis right on the back label. That's dumb. Now anyone, anywhere, can put the right amount of minerals into distilled water and make their own Fiji water. But why would they want to? Why don't they just use reverse osmosis water instead? Just like this water, which came from a reverse osmosis unit in my kitchen. Without the bottle, you can't tell the difference. People can't tell the difference without the bottle. Their wallet can, though. Fiji water costs $1.50 a bottle, a 1 liter bottle. You can find it in the grocery store right beside the 88 cents per gallon store-bought, store-brand reverse osmosis water. But anyone with a quarter can fill up a gallon jug at the vending machine outside. I don't know why anybody would buy reverse osmosis water, or I don't know why anybody would pay so much money for Fiji water. Unless they're paying for it with lottery winnings. Thanks, you've been great. If you've had half as much fun as I've had twice as much fun as you. It's my pleasure now to introduce our next entertainer. She comes on stronger than a garlic milkshake. Diane Miner, for first time up.
I'm Diane Miner, and I was married for 40 years. I was an infant bride. I unexpectedly became single, and I'll tell you, I find dating again at this age frustrating. I think even at your age, when you're 14, any age, it's frustrating. But I'm in the antique business, and I have to look closely at things, and to know if it's junk or if there's value. It's a lot like dating. And does he have value or not? If they post stuff on their profile and they say they're 47 and fit, that means they're 70 and on life support. If they post they're an entrepreneur, if they're an I can yell.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little technical difficulties. Let's give it a little jiggle. It worked when I tested it.
Yeah. Peel more off, Mike.
Okay. Did I talk about it being an entrepreneur? Okay, well that means he's selling stolen crap on Craigslist. I don't believe anything the guys say. My rule is take it out, road test it, and see what falls off. Dating again at this age, it's like a paradigm shift for me. There's Tinder and Twitter and Skyping and catfishing. None of this existed before. I found guys the normal way, through rock festivals, dances, protest marches. Everything's online now. Banking, dating, shopping, sex, texting. My spelling gets me in trouble there. And then there's catfish. I got caught up in catfishing. And it's where you don't even know someone, you fall for them, it's all online. Found out he was 400 pounds, face covered with spikes and tattoos, and his name was Dottie. I'll tell you about Dottie. She was vintage. How do you know when something's junk or vintage? If I can get you to pay a lot for it, it's vintage. If it's antique, it's in a museum. Dusty and dead and creepy, all show and no go. But if it's vintage, it's back. It's worth more now than it was new. Polished, loved. I'm not even antique. I'm vintage. Well, some things hold their value with age. Some things go out of style, but they still work. Well, it's a lot like people. You go from new to junk to vintage. So, I talked about how you tell the difference. So we'll skip that. I can still get you to pay a lot for it. But I like to bargain for vintage things and get money and sell them. I do it all. Flea markets, estate sales, men. I picked up so much. I was afraid of becoming a whore. My solution is declutter. Sell it online or at the malls, the vintage shops. The stuff, not the stuff, the men. Well, I'm not just an antique dealer. I'm also a grandmother. And things I've learned as a grandmother, there's two things you don't take the grandkids to. Your first date. If it goes really well, they'll never unsee it. And estate sales, because they'll blow the deal, they'll touch stuff and break things. Sometimes I do take them to estate sales. Yeah. How much is that? $400? It's broken. You need to mark it down. I love my grandkids, and sometimes I have them help me out in my antique booth. They're not very good at it. It's like, my grandma, like, she wore this at Woodstock. No, I didn't. I was naked. Thank you for your time. You've been great. I'm Diane Meyer. I'm going to bring up a very funny lady, and her name is Kristen Mick.
Hello. My name is Kristen Mick, and I think astrology is stupid. And everyone with my zodiac sign thinks so too. So people will ask me, what's your sign? It's a stop sign. Stop saying stupid shit to me. Look, I don't care if you're a Pisces, or a Leo, or a candy corn. We're not compatible. So my best friend tells me, well, you're an Aquarius. Aquariuses don't have emotions. I'm very emotional. I'm so happy right now. And you can always tell whenever someone's into astrology because you can walk up to them and say, hey, let's go make a Gemini. And it'll work on 11 out of 12 zodiac signs. Because Aquarians don't believe in astrology. We're better than that. It's really hard to find someone you want to be with. My type is tall, lean, nerds who look like they just logged about 13 hours in the World of Warcraft. I look everywhere for the one, but he probably just hasn't left his mom's basement yet. This is the longest I've been single in 3 years, so I actually had to start trying again. I'll spend hours getting ready, and if one of my eyebrows isn't perfect, it'll look like I'm suspicious of everyone in the room. And then I wear my one-a-day contacts for 3 weeks, and I walk around like this. So, the other day I bought an $80 bra, and then I read about how Kim Kardashian duct tapes her boobs up and over. And with my luck, I would take a guy home and go to the bathroom to freshen up and come back without nipples. I've been living with my sister and her family while I try to get my own place. Her kids call me Aunt Booby. Isn't that cute? Because Aunt Booby likes to come home drunk and topless at 6 in the morning. My sister actually just found out that she has celiac disease, which means that if she eats gluten, she will die. So, celiac disease is just like a really fun way of saying that a crouton can kill her. people's dietary restrictions aren't real though, and since I work in a restaurant, I have to deal with those people. So they come in and tell me, well, I have a dairy allergy. And I'll say, well, you can't have the dish you want because it has butter in it. Well, butter is okay. Butter shouldn't be okay. These are the same people from high school that let their boyfriends in the back door and said they're still virgins. They use butter for that too. The dishwasher at my job doesn't speak a lot of English, so he actually, I don't even think he knows my name. He just calls me puta, which means beautiful in Spanish. A lot of people are surprised whenever they find out that I'm bilingual. He also likes to tell me, oh, you know boyfriend, you know suck job. That is so encouraging. I don't have to suck anymore. In fact, no ring, no suck. Thank you guys, my name is Kristen Nick. Coming up next, very funny gal, Katie Clay.
Hello, everyone. Let's give it up again for Caitlin. My name's Katie, and I'm really close with my mom. She's always wanted me to be a part of the important moments in her life. So when she gave birth to my brother, she wanted me in the delivery room. She said that it would be a beautiful experience. And it was. If you consider a bloody horror show and 20 years of therapy a beautiful experience. So afterwards, she points down to the aftermath and goes, "See, Katie, this is what happens if you have sex." I lost my virginity a couple months ago. It was my 30th birthday. And I purchased my lover at Castle Megastore on sale. I named him Carlton because this is a story all about how I blew him up and kept him around. That was a beautiful experience. And I kept him. Not that you'd be able to tell, because I know I probably give off a super white girl vibe, but I'm actually a Puertorriquense. And no, I didn't call anyone a name, so you don't need to worry. But my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, she is from Nicaragua. And I've always called her Abuelita, and some of my fondest memories are of her. For instance, every winter she'd get all the women in the family together to make naca tamales. It's Nicaraguan tamales, not Mexican ones. And it was one of her favorite family traditions. Now, naca tamales are a lot of work, and it's not because they're difficult to make, it's because you have to work really hard not to screw up, because if you do, you might leave with a severed finger. Abuelita doesn't like it when you mess up her tamales. So one time a friend came over to help, and before I knew it, there was screaming and blood everywhere, and I look up and she's chasing her out of the house with a knife, screaming, "I told you these slices!" It was like I was watching Mommy Dearest and Faye Dunaway's yelling, "No wire hang-ups!" Except it was over food, and I couldn't understand what she was saying. She has a really strong accent, and it can be hard to understand what she's saying. Sometimes her words come out wrong, and you don't really know what she's talking about. So one time I'm over at...
Okay. Yeah, he's nice, he's funny, he's handsome, blah, 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 blah. But he uttered the words that every single female who owns her own house Butters wants to hear actually on the first date. He said he was a general contractor. Now, just wait, hear me out, okay? Like, someone wants to run around my house at this point, fixing things, wearing a tool belt. That is not just hot, like, that is porn in my world, alright? And if you don't believe me, you should see my new kitchen. Thanks a lot, my name is Sheila. I want to bring up a comic here. His name is, I'm probably going to mess up his name, Abhinav
Goyle.
Goyle! Please let's hear it for Abhinav. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Abhinav Goyle. So, recently I did a show, and for the first time, this really hot girl came up to me after and was like, "Hey, I got an idea for you." Unfortunately, it wasn't that idea. She was a little drunk and a little rude and decided she had a few joke ideas for me. Mainly about how I'm an Indian. She was like, "You know, you should do some jokes about working in a call center." Yeah. And you know, I like that movie about the kid on the boat with the tiger. What's it called again? Crouching Tiger, Eat the Pie. Well, that's awkward. Crouching Tiger, Eat the Pie. And, wait. Yep. And, like, I just messed up my set.
That's awkward.
What comes after that?
Start over.
Start over? I want to get the entire drunken girl before that. But yeah, like this girl wasn't ready to stop going. Like she was like, "You know, you should do some jokes about having a dot on your head." You have a dot on your head! No, I don't. And frankly, kind of disappointed. These are the best ideas you could give me. Like, I'm Indian. You could have talked about how all Indians are so hairy that we don't need to wear a sweater in the wintertime. We already got one. Or how all Indians are brown. Come on. It's not because we tan a lot. God just took a shit on us. And you're a girl. Come on. You couldn't remember how all guys smell like curry? Not because we eat a lot of curry. That's just leftover scent of God's shit. And come on, all Indians are terrorists. I know you white people think this about us. It's because we carry around gunpowder, which to us is just a form of chili powder. Meaning the only thing I'm blowing up is a toilet. She's like, "You know, you're pretty smart. Can I marry you?" Actually, no, you can't. Because I'm an Indian, my parents already arranged my marriage. So I learned early on that I am not good at team sports. And I learned this because every time I joined a team, everybody on it would go, "You're horrible." My dad would be driving me home going, "You're horrible." I would get home, my brother would be sitting on the couch going, "You're horrible." But my mother, she was much kinder. "You are the best of all the horrible ones." Maybe you should just go sit in your room by yourself. Singular sports, on the other hand, I was actually pretty good at, like karate, tennis, weightlifting, and ballet. It's a sport, okay? But this inability to be good at team sports actually caught up to me in the working world, where, for example, my first team project was to figure out how to increase productivity in the workplace. The first idea my team came up with was to put me in the basement. They're like, "This will increase productivity by about 200%. And so my job was to sit in the basement and pretty much just staple papers. And not like important papers, just whatever they throw down there, like newspapers, report clippings. At one point, they just started throwing down 1-ply toilet paper. They're like, so your job is to turn this into 2-ply toilet paper. Make the company kind of you're fired. So I did, and I was good at it because it was a singular activity. All right, that's my time tonight. Thank you guys very much. All right, up next is the very wonderful, it's her very first time on stage, Deborah Mojay.